Hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Well, here it comes. Bleach 473 review. Let's go. The name of this chapter was called Enemies in the Dark. Now, in the beginning of the chapter, we get the conclusion of Tsukishima and Byakuya. Nothing really happened. He tells Tsukishima, I have no remorse of cutting you down. You're an enemy of Tsukishima, dead or not. Dead or not. And we move on to Yukio. He's taking down the chat rooms, and everybody's there. Gaku and Zaraki says, Gaku's like, Captain, you're early. And he says, no, you're fucking late. You're just, no shit, you're just late. And then you get Renji is alive. So, he says she's dead, probably. Jackie. Then we move on from there. And then Hitsugaya comes in and, he says, where's Kuchiki? And he's got Yukio with him. And he says, oh, you let me go if I didn't do my ability. And then Rukia shows up. She's still alive. And then, while this is happening, Hitsugaya's got this suspicion that Yukio knows something about his abilities, but he doesn't. Her abilities are Ruka. And then when that happens, I'm sorry I'm being very monotone about this, but this chapter was not good. I'm sorry. I cannot support this chapter. And then after everybody shows up, he says, why don't you undo this chamber, this chat room? He says, I can't do that. And he basically tells him about, Ginjao shared his abilities with us, blah, 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 pact not to do that. So, I move on that to Ginjao's fight with Ichigo. And, it's a gets a potential against a gets a potential. It's like, come on. So, a lot of stuff's happening, they're running in the air, blah, blah, blah. Ichigo's got him, he just slashes at him. And then, sorry if I'm doing this quick, but and then you're fighting well, he says, and you're wrong. Sure, you're just fighting the best of your ability. So right now, what are you fighting for? And he says, Tsukishima's dead. Genjo says that, and he's nearly gone. I give him 10 minutes at best, he says. Also, and he brings out this idea saying that when a full trainer dies, all the traces of their ability will disappear. Which means, in the long run, is that once Tsukishima dies and Uzetsu is gone, Ichigo's friends and family will return to normal. And Ichigo's shocked. He's like... And then he says, that brings me to this question. Just exactly what are you fighting for, Kurosaki? No answer? Then I'll tell you something else. It's a little story about the enemy you should be fighting. Okay. This chapter actually upset me. Now, the last thing Ginjo said, he said, I'll tell you a little story about the enemy you should be fighting. That is good. That line he said made me think, okay, that's a pro. That is a pro in this chapter. That was a pro. However, there were too many cons in this chapter. Okay. Con number 1, the Fullbringers being tossed aside. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always the chance that Jackie might still be alive. Remember, Renji says she's dead. Probably. Probably? Okay. The thing with Rukia, I mean, I would put that as a con, too. But I'm gonna leave that alone because everyone's been going on that. But the con number one, the fact that the Fullbringers right now, as of now, have been just tossed aside. We're not going to talk about them. They're nobodies. The only one left is Yukio and Ginjo. So who cares? That's con number one. Con number two, the fact that Ginjo brings up the fact Tsukushima's going to die, and once he dies, your friends and family can return to normal. So what are you fighting for? That's con number two. Two cons, one pro. That tells me one thing. This is getting a 3 out of 5, and I was this close to giving it 2.5 out of 5. This close. And this isn't Phone's opinion, this is my opinion. It's, you know, Ginjo, he just brings that up. And Ichigo doesn't know the answer. I remember in the beginning of Bleach, the very beginning on the Soul Society arc, Ichigo, he went in there, that was the best of Ichigo. That was the best. Kubo, listen. Next week, it's his week. He has got to deliver. And it better be good, because I tell you right now, the conversation, he has to do two things. Number one, he has to justify these Fullbringers. And number two, he has to bring some sort of conclusion to who this enemy is next week. If the enemy, if he starts, it has to be somebody really impressive. But I will say, I don't want to say this. I really don't want to say this. But I'm afraid for this show now. Because I'm afraid that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to have to do a video that I don't want to do. You know what that video is called? I'm going to have to do this video called Phone 999 was right. I don't want to have to do that video. I really don't want to have to do that video. Going to him and telling him he's right. But just that instance for Ginjo saying, "What are you fighting for?" To hear it said again. Aizen said it. And now Ginjo's saying it. And now Ichigo doesn't know the answer. What is Kobo doing? Why is he making his here? I'm just splitting hairs here. Because it's like, what are you fighting for? And he doesn't know? This entire time. The whole point is, and here's the thing I don't think a lot of people brought up. In the beginning of Bleach, supposedly, I think it was like the first few episodes that were done, Ichigo had said that his name, Ichigo, represented one who protects. The protector. One who protects. Now, maybe that is what he's supposed to be saying of what he's fighting for. But here's the thing. If all his friends and family are fine, they're going to return to normal, then why is he fighting Ginjo? It's like, I don't know where to go with this. I really don't. But if this villain, if this enemy that he's supposed to be fighting for, that Ginjo supposedly is going to say next week is impressive, then I might overlook this. But I'm just afraid for this show right now. I mean, I saw Super Kamagu Night Out. I don't want to drop any names. I really don't either. But I'm just saying, I'm afraid for this show now. I just hope things get better. 3 out of 5. You know, this is how it is. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. This was not. It was okay. But that scared me. What are you fighting for? He doesn't know. I'm worried. I am seriously worried. I mean, if it is the Soul Society, if it is the Royal Guard supposedly, and the Spirit King, if we get into the Spirit King that this is the enemy, then it is kind of a ripoff of Yu Yu Hakusho, but I might accept it. I will accept the Royal Guard if that's what the enemy says. I will accept the Royal Guard. But, like I said before, we will see. Tell me what you guys think. Comments below about this chapter. Honest opinion, it scares me when something like that happens. And it's like, what are you fighting for? Family and friends protecting them? I hope that is it. You know? This has been Bonkai 922. See you guys later.